I come to you today with a message and say you will not die before your time. You will never die before the appointed time of God. I am saying to you, it may look bad, it may look terrible, the situation may look gloomy, but let me tell you, you will not die before the appointed time of God. Yes, you will not die. Those are the promises of God. No one will harm you. The Bible says the angel of the Lord stood before Apostle Paul and said, you will not die in the sea. I have given you and everyone who is on board, I have given their lives to you. But you will go and face trial in Rome. You will not perish. Don't worry about the bad weather. Don't worry about the situation. Don't worry about the temperature. It is for time being. And Jonah, when he was on the boat, and God sent him somewhere, but he decided to go somewhere else. When they threw the luggage, the next person that they're supposed to throw, it was Jonah, and they threw him. But God refused that he shall die in the belly of a fish. I want to give you a verse today which is well known, but it's a verse which speaks about the situation today. And this is how Jesus Christ reacted one day when things were not looking good to those that he loved. Because what do you do when other people that you know are quarantined? What do you do when reporters come back and say they are positive? Do you abandon them? Do you not even greet them? What do you do? The Bible says in the book of John 11, when Jesus received the message, he said, this sickness is not to end in death. This is when Jesus Christ was far away from those that he loved, the Bible says. And he received the message while he was far away, that look, your beloved brother Lazarus is sick. And when Jesus received the message, he said, this sickness is not to end in death. I am giving you a message and say to you, the sickness that your brothers and sisters are suffering today, it will not lead into death. Because remember, Apostle Paul says, the first thing that has been conquered is death. Death has been conquered. Those open graves are not for you. Those open graves are not for you and your family. This shall not lead to death. He said, this shall not lead to death. This sickness does not lead to death. But on the contrary, it is to honor God. Listen, hear me well. On the contrary, is to honor God and to promote his glory. If you want to see the glory of the living God, you need to understand that you shall never die before your appointed time. Before your time, you shall never die. He says, this that the Son of God may be glorified. It is a calling for us, I tell you, that we need to glorify the Son of God. We may have abandoned him for many years, but now it's time for us to go back to the Son of the living God and let him be glorified, for all the glory belongs to him. Yes. This is a trial, but it is temporary. It's not a permanent situation. That's what Jesus Christ was saying when he said he is sick, but it will not lead to death. So it is temporary. It is not a permanent situation. Don't make a temporary situation permanent in your life. Refuse to make a temporary situation to be permanent. This situation has no permanency. Yes, Lord. And when you see your brother and sister who are positive according to the reports, do not put a stigma to a person because he is sick. Because this sickness is temporary, it's not permanent. You are sick, you are not sick, you are my brother. You are sick, you are not sick, you are my mother, you are my sister, you are my father, you are my uncle. It's not permanent. That situation I declare and I decree, I refuse to make it permanent. It does not lead to death. It is to reveal the glory of the Lord so that testimony can come. That there was once a lady, there was once a man who survived these things, who was declared positive, who was quarantined, who was given all sort of medication, but he stood up and he survived it. It is for you to give that testimony. I see you testifying. I say, I see you testifying as you reveal the glory of the Son. Jesus Christ refused to accept that Lazarus is dead because he knew that it was not the appointed time of Lazarus. Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister Lazarus. They were his dear friends and he held them in loving esteem. Listen, the situation must not change your love to your parents. The situation must not change your love to your children. The situation must not change love to your husband or to your wife. It must never change anything. It is not permanent. It is there to reveal the glory of the Lord. It is not there to kill them. It will never kill them. They will never die before their appointed time of God. You know, the Bible says Jesus loved Martha and Mary, and he loved Lazarus. Keep on loving your family. Keep on loving those who are close to you. Those you know they are in self-isolation. Those you know they are quarantined. Send the love to them. Like Jesus, he loved Martha and Lazarus. But listen, that even when he heard that Lazarus was sick, he still stayed 2 days longer in the same place he was. Where he was, he still stayed extra 2 days longer. What manner of man is this? But listen, then after the interval, he said to his disciples, let us go back to Judea. That's where they were. Let us go back. 2 days has lapsed. Let me tell you, delay is not rejection. Hear me well, child of God. Delay is not rejection. The fact that things are delayed in your life does not mean that you are rejected. The fact that things are coming to you but slowly does not mean that you are rejected is the end of you. To be quarantined, it does not mean that you are rejected by people. To have a letter of regret does not mean that all employers have rejected you. The fact that you are divorced does not mean that you will never get married, or all men or all women have rejected you. No. The fact that you are not approved to acquire something, it does not mean that no one will ever approve you, or all the institution will never approve you. No. Do not confuse a temporary situation and make it permanent. What is permanent is permanent. What is temporary is temporary. Those who are sick today, they are facing a temporary situation. Hear me well. They are not facing a permanent situation. It is a question of time. They will come out. If you are quarantined, you will come out. If you are sick, you shall be healed. If you want to pass, you shall pass. The fact that you fail now, it's not permanent. Don't kill yourself. Yes, your life may be delayed. Some of their lives are delayed with 14 days. But you will not perish. You will come out rejuvenating. Some people's lives have come to a standstill because of the delay. It's a delay. The Bible says Jesus Christ delayed for extra 2 days. But he did not reject Lazarus.